Good evening. In our news bulletin for tonight, government has plans to implement new water licenses, but some local businesses are claiming that there has been a lack of consultation prior to the implementation of these licenses. Niue's new trade committee held their first meeting today. The Fisheries Division have received a new vehicle that will support work in the fisheries sector. Hakupu's Marine Day got off to a great start with more than 20 canoe fishermen competing for top prizes at the event in Namkuru. Niue is about to introduce a water extraction license fee and water pollution license that they will start charging some of the businesses first. This decision has come as a surprise for some businesses who will now be paying a few more hundreds of dollars for these new licenses on top of other licenses they are expected to pay for. The Water Act 2012 and the water regulations make provisions for such licenses to be applied, and the Department of Utilities is the implementing agency. The issue about water charges or licenses has been discussed in the past when the regulations were developed, but it has been a long time before they have been implemented. What businesses are concerned about is that there has been a lack of consultation or justification for these licenses. But we spoke to the Director of Utilities to understand the rationale behind these new licenses.
The reasons behind the move to implement or impose licenses fees is just to get some income for the department, mostly and foremost, for us to do maintenance work and provide services to the people in terms of water. In regards to the other fees, the pollution control fees, that's also put in place because of the big businesses, the potential to the activities they carry out have the potential to contaminate our waterlands. So it's just something that has been in the pipeline for a long time. And because of the Water Act been approved by the Assembly and also the water regulations, now we have come to a stage that we need to implement those initiatives that were put in there a long time ago. I mean, it's something that it's also to deter people from wasting water, because our experience with people wasting a lot of water just because they don't pay anything. So that's one of the reasons behind it.
Some business owners said the first that they were made aware of these licenses was when they received a letter from the Niue Chamber of Commerce. This is only the first part of a process implementing licenses and charges that will eventually see households included as well.
We will start off with the big businesses who use a lot of water, including the state-owned enterprises as well. But in the future, we'll be looking at imposing fees with the wider community and the public as well. Because in our experience, there's a lot of water wasted. People they're not conscious of wasting water. They don't report, some of them they don't report leaks in their homes, just get on for. And we find that there's a lot of water wasted, and we pay a lot of money to pump that water out, electricity, pump water out from our groundwater and distribute it to the people. So a lot of money involved, but they're not paying for it, so they don't really care whether they waste water or not. So.
The license fees that businesses will pay will be a contribution towards the provision of services by the Department of Utilities. The Department of Utilities scheduled and held a consultation this afternoon to explain the process and hope to find a common understanding. We will bring you more on this news story in our future news bulletins. The newly formed Niue Trade Committee held their first meeting today. That marks the culmination of a number of initiatives towards building the capacity of trade officials to implement Niue's trade policy framework. This is the national component in Niue that includes the application of the best practices in trade policy mainstreaming using the Niue Trade Policy Framework. The Pacific Islands Forum Secretariat facilitated discussions last year by providing an overview of the analytical background, informing recommendations on the Niue Trade Policy Framework, the rationale and the institutional framework, the macroeconomic environment, trade compositions and trends, as well as the trade, tourism and primary sectors, cross-cutting trade issues, and on aid for trade. We spoke to the Director of Policy Economic Governance from the Pacific Island Forum Secretariat to find out more about the significance of this meeting.
This is a consultative committee which actually comes together to get an appreciation of what are some of the key issues affecting the country with respect to trade, investment, and broader economic development. And they make decisions in terms of what are the major issues that they need to progress to the next level of engagement, whether it is to do with government action or whether it's to do with a cabinet endorsement or a decision, or whether it is to do with partnership among private sector operators. These are the various modalities of operation that they discuss among themselves. I think Niue is a country relatively small, actually very small, when it comes to looking at or comparing at it with other islands in the region. But despite being such a small nation, Niue has done extremely well in terms of developing its tourism sector, in terms of investing in main infrastructures, and also in terms of supporting its private sector to grow. I've had the opportunity to be here before, and I've now seen a very significant improvement in terms of how the businesses are operating, the manner in which they have come together, and the approach that they have taken to deal with difficulties that any small economy will face. So this particular gathering today has allowed them to have a relook at the trade policy framework that got developed in 2016, and it is now being converted into a set of implementation work, and it is actually called the implementation metrics for the policy framework, which actually identifies the very specific actions that needs to be undertaken by individual stakeholder, whether it's a government department, whether it is a Chamber of Commerce, or whether it is the cabinet, for example, in terms of taking forward some of these issues.
Interview. Government officials directly involved with trade activities have also had extensive capacity training, and policy framework will help guide their work. That was also put to the test in this inaugural meeting. The newly formed committee has a number of stakeholders, and we spoke to one of the participants who has been part of the trade discussions over the past few years as part of the Chamber of Commerce about the importance of consultation in this process.
This meeting is the first meeting of the committee that is going to undertake the implementation of that framework. And I think it's been a journey for Niue to actually look into areas of trade, because as we know, we don't do a lot of trade. We don't have a lot of that export volume as other Pacific Island countries, but we do have niche markets. And with the Prem opening up the meeting today, he did state that it's important to have this framework because it's the future that we're looking forward to. And in relation to that, trade gives the private sector opportunities to move into markets that we have not experienced as yet. And if you go back into Niue's history, in the 70s, we were exporting goods like lime, passion fruit. Yes, we had a population of perhaps 5,000, but it doesn't mean to say that we're not going to get there and do this kind of trade again. This meeting allows us to look at the framework that will enable it. It will also allow us to look at the unit that is going to look after the trade per se in Niue. And that's been a learning for all of us, a learning experience for all of us. is to understand, how to trade and the framework that protects niue when we do trade.
Political will and leadership has also been highlighted as key factors in the success of developing the framework and the implementation phase.
I'd like to thank the government of Niue, who actually have done a wonderful job in terms of working on the trade policy framework, bringing together all stakeholders, and taking this forward. The technical assistance that has been provided through the Secretariat and other technical teams such as TradeCom has helped the technical people, the trade team in Niue to put that together. But the leadership of the government of Niue, the Premier was here this morning, he sent some very clear messages about the country, despite being small, should not shy away from looking at opportunities for exports. And business growth is what is going to help the country to get better income, and that income is expected to help in terms of other development needs of the country. So that leadership element is very important. The minister responsible for trade has been here, has been chairing this meeting, and that's excellent leadership. I wish the committee well in their deliberation, and of course I think going forward it's a very important role that this committee has, so all the best for them.
The meeting concluded today with the hope that the Niue Trade Committee will be able to progress forward and further develop trade opportunities in Niue. Niue's Fisheries Division have received a new vehicle courtesy of the New Zealand Ministry of Primary Industries. The vehicle was delivered on the New Zealand Defence Force Hercules on Tuesday. A brief handover ceremony was on Wednesday morning at the Fisheries Office, attended by the New Zealand High Commissioner, the Director of DEF, Minister of Natural Resources and Fisheries staff. His Excellency Ross Arjun acknowledged this has been a long time coming after discussions with the Minister Billy Talangi a few years ago, who had originally asked for some assistance for the Fisheries Division.
And one of the things that we determined we could do was perhaps provide a vehicle for the Niue Fisheries Department. So I've been working with our partners in MPI to be able to make sure that we can do exactly that. It has been a long time coming, I'd have to confess, but there was an opportunity to get it on the plane that came up yesterday, the RNZAA flight, and we've done exactly that. This vehicle, we hope, will be able to be used by the Fisheries Department to support their work. I'm particularly interested in using it to make sure that fishermen who put to sea have all of the appropriate safety equipment that is required. And with this vehicle, I'm sure the Fisheries Department will be able to get around the island and check out the fishing boats, check out equipment that they're using to go to sea. It should be a bonus for us, we hope.
The New Zealand High Commission has been instrumental in garnering the support for Niue, and they have plans to continue with providing more assistance to improve safety at sea.
Well, we're working closely with the government of Niue at the moment on providing a rescue vehicle, a vessel for Niue. That's under construction as we speak. The expected delivery date for that rescue vessel will be around October, November. Now this is a substantial piece of equipment that we are gifting to Niue, and we hope that it will be multi-purpose. Not used for boat day per such, but it will be able to be used by quarantine, it will be able to be used by fisheries to check their FADs, not to drop their FADs. It's not designed for that. You've got a vessel that can do that, but it will be used for supporting your whale sanctuary. It will be used to be able to be used by police for search and rescue, which is its prime purpose. So that will be a considerable asset to the toolbox that Niue will have for sea safety.
Director of DAF Poi Okesene also acknowledged that this would not have been possible without the actions of the former DAF Director Brendan Pasisi, the head of Fisheries James Tafatu, the former Minister Billy Talangi, and other key staff at Fisheries for their assistance in sourcing this vehicle that will bring many benefits for the fisheries sector. Hakupu's Marine Day finally got off to a great start on Monday with more than 20 canoe fishermen who launched off at Namukulu Ramp. The event was originally scheduled for Saturday, but due to rough seas, it was postponed to Queen's birthday holiday on Monday. The competition attracted keen fishermen from around the island who were challenged to catch pelagic species, And despite the great efforts, there were only a few fish that were caught. And those who took the bragging rights for this year, this event was very well organised, and all competitors appeared to have enjoyed the day, looking forward to more competitions ahead. This was a pre-show day event for Hakupu, and now the community can look forward to their village show day on Saturday. And that concludes our news bulletin for this evening. We do hope that you join us again next week. Don't forget that the Hakupu Village Show Day will be on this Saturday.